Hey everyone, it is Quinn here again, and today I have some more bass chords for you all. This time we're looking at some voicings that are based on triads. So your major chords, your minor chords, diminished chords, and then maybe a few variations on that with some ideas on how we can use them. So we're going to be basing everything around the key of E again today. So for our first one, we're going to start with a just nice E major triad. So if we do that, it's going to look like this. So we've got an E, we've got a G sharp, and then we've got a B up here at the top. Okay, so nice and basic, but again, we can still move that around, especially if you go between the 1 chord and the 4 chord in the key. It can sound really nice. Pretty nice. Again, pretty usable. Creates a little bit of movement, especially if you have a guitar player that's doing more of the melody. They're not just strumming chords. Something like that could fit really nicely behind it. So that's the major version of that. If we do the minor version, all we're doing is taking that G sharp and we're lowering it down to a G. So we've got frets 7, 5, and 4. Again, we could do sort of same thing where we move that around. Again, pretty usable. Some nice things we can do with that. And again, we could strum it or arpeggiate it. Or you could play it more as a single line too, where you don't let the notes ring together. Let's see, after that, if we keep rolling along, next one's going to be the diminished shape. So this is just stacked minor thirds. So for this one, we're going to have an E, a G, and then a B flat. Now, that's a little tough to play down in that range, so I wrote it out like it was an E, but honestly, if we're going to play that voicing, I'd probably move it up the neck a little bit, so maybe somewhere between like the 8th and 12th frets would be a little more usable. Yeah, still a little stretchy too. It's kind of a tricky one to work into your playing, but theoretically, that is one that is possible. Now, one that I definitely like to use that I think this sounds really good on the bass in the right context. This is an E suspended 4th voicing. So this one's going to look like this. So we're going to have our E, that's our root. We're going to have our 4th, that's the note A, and then we're going to have our B up top. Again, similarly, that's one that we can move around a little bit. We can get some nice sounds with it. Yeah, it's got this nice kind of open sound to it. Really interesting. And again, I really like that one. You can also play around with like muting some of the notes, so especially if you palm mute the lower portion of that chord, sometimes you can make the higher notes of that pop out a little bit more and create some really cool sounds. So that was the suspended 4th chord. Similarly, we could play the suspended 2nd chord, the E sus2. So for that, we're going to have an E, an F sharp, and a B. That looks like this. Again, kind of similar sound to the suspended 4th chord. It's very open. It's got this really kind of like neutral sound. And again, it works really well for kind of sliding it around the neck too. So let's say I keep that open E going right there. Especially that last one's really nice right there. So you can use like kind of a pedal point, slide it around. And again, also works really nice for like these little finger picking patterns. And then eventually you can maybe even resolve it to like a major chord or a minor chord. All right, so after that one, we've got this really cool one. This one's another one we might want to bump up the neck a little bit because it's a little tough to reach, but we have the E suspended sharp fourth chord. So this is where we're going to take like a kind of E sus4 voicing, but we're going to kind of raise that top note up a little bit. Actually, I guess I should say this is not so much an E sus sharp 4, it's more of like an E add sharp 4. So if we start right here, we've got an E, we've got a G sharp, and then we're going to add that A sharp up here at the top. Again, a little hard to reach down in that range, but if we move it up a little bit, it's a little more doable up in this range. It gives you this nice kind of Lydian sound that you can use, especially if you play it kind of down in this range. You might recognize that as the opening couple of notes to some Legend of Zelda music. I think that's Lost Woods, if I'm not mistaken. So, very cool sound. With this next one, we're going to have an E minor 6 chord. So for this one, we're going to have the root, we're going to have the flat third, and we're going to have a major 6 in it. That can also work as a diminished chord, depending on how you use it, but we're going to call it like E minor 6 for right now. That could be kind of a really cool, kind of funky one. Gives you a little bit of like a Dorian sound if you're familiar with that scale, so that would work really well for that. Let's see, for our next one, we're going to do kind of like an E major chord, but it's not going to have a fifth in it, so it's just going to be a root, a third, and then an octave above it. So it's a little bit more of a spread sound. So this is going to be E, G sharp, and then the octave of E. Really nice kind of open voicing. I actually find that really clear. If I want something that's kind of like a power chord, but I still want that third in there so that it has the color of the chord quality, that can be a nice one to move around as well. Sound with it. Again, it also works well for arpeggiate. And then similarly, we could do a minor version of that. So we could do the root, the minor third, G, and then the octave. We could again move that around all over the place. Pretty cool sound. Now, if we take the major version of that and this minor version, we could actually go up the chord scale, or at least most of it, and get a pretty nice sound as well. So. That around all over the place. Again, still you can make a nice groove with it, but again you have this a little bit more sound happening than just a single note. So again, it works really well when you want to fill out the sonic sphere a little bit more than just playing single notes. All right, so that was the lesson today based on triads for the bass. Thank you for watching it. If you like this video, like it and subscribe it and hit that little bell icon down there so you can be notified when the next video goes out.